Hey everyone, it's been about 6 months since I started this channel, and at the time of recording, we've already hit 69 subscribers. Nice. And to celebrate that, I thought it would be great to give you guys a tour of my tiny game room. Well, maybe we can call it compact. Anyway, let's check it out. So here it is, my very compact game room. This isn't a large room by any means, but it's about 12 feet by 10 feet in floor space. So we definitely had to get creative. Also, this isn't just a game room. This is where I do all my videos and edits, so it doubles as my workspace. Right off the bat, I'll say that a fair amount of what you see in this room are things that I've had all my life, gifts, and things that have been passed down to me from my childhood. I am an active collector, but it's not like I'm getting stuff every month here. Starting off at the entrance, you're greeted by my Super Mario 3 welcome mat and the Mario door hanger I have from 1989. And at the first bit of wall art you see here, I have a artist rendition of Harrison Ford's biggest roles. I'm definitely a huge Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones fan, so when I saw this at a Comic-Con at the Art Center, it was awesome. I had to get it. And above that are two of the Mario 3D All-Stars posters you can get with your platinum points when the game came out. I still need to get a frame for the third one, so that's why you don't see it yet. And to your right, you're greeted by my bronze sculpture I made back in university of Oni Akuma, based off of the figure from Sideshow Collectibles. This sculpture took a while to make, but it was so much fun. It was one of the earlier sculptures I ever did. Essentially, I sculpted it out of a wax-based clay, and then it was cast in bronze, so now it's indestructible basically, and it weighs a ton. Below that are most of my retro games on this wooden display stand I made by hand. The YouTube channel Nintendo Collecting has a fantastic video on how to make this if you're interested. It's actually his design, by the way, and not to mention, his game room is a million times better than mine, so check it out. But here we have the main games I grew up with. The ones I didn't sell as a dumb kid, thankfully, but I'm sure we all had that part in our childhood where we gave away or sold our games for new ones. Oh man, I can't tell you how many games and consoles I've sold. I remember as a kid when I traded in most of my NES and SNES games into GameStop to get the brand new PS2. I remember they only gave me about $1 a game for it. Anyway, right below that we have my slowly growing collection of GameCube, PS2, 3, 4, some Sega Genesis games, and my 3DS games. I'm currently trying to just buy back all the games I had as a kid, and I am far from it. I used to own a Dreamcast, a 64, but for whatever reason, I got bored of them as a kid and sold them off to a garage sale. Probably for like 20 bucks. Man, what a dumb kid. Oh, and these Super Famicom games I got from my visit to Japan a couple years ago. I really hope they open their borders soon for tourists. Man, I really miss that place. And next we have my controller wall mounts. This is something I came up with on my own, a simple way to display your controllers on the wall using just one flat piece of wood and a thin dowel. Screw the dowels in the wood and then just screw the wood to the wall. Easy. By the way, what's your all-time favorite controller? Mine has to be the SNES because it has the best D-pad in my opinion. But other than that, I really like the GameCube as my favorite for everything else, excluding the D-pad. That thing is so tiny. And now we move on to my Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade 1-Up. This is such a gorgeous cabinet. It's literally been a dream of mine to own an arcade cabinet, and Marvel vs. Capcom is probably my favorite fighting game of all time, excluding Marvel vs. Capcom 2, of course. Growing up, I remember a local theater we would go to all the time had a Marvel vs. Capcom arcade cabinet, and I would play that thing all the time. I wouldn't want to go see the movie, I would just want to play Marvel vs. Capcom. My favorite characters in the game to play: Mega Man, Ryu, Wolverine, and Ken, of course. Anyway, there's a ton of reviews of this arcade cabinet on YouTube. In my opinion, it's a 10 out of 10. I love all the games it comes with. I love the lights and the sounds, the light up marquee, but mostly I love the artwork. Man, the two sides of this thing, I love this classic setup lineup with all the characters from Marvel on one side, all the characters from Capcom on the other. Beautiful piece of art. To me, this is like having a Ferrari in a showroom, you know? I also got these legs off of Amazon to give it some more height. I'm 6'1", and even with the included riser, it wasn't tall enough, so I came up with this solution by getting these furniture legs off of Amazon, and it worked out perfectly. It's at the perfect height. I also added LED lights to the back and bottom of the cabinet just to give it that more arcade feeling. And also it comes with this really cool bar stool with some of the artwork from Marvel vs. Capcom on the top. This thing is super high quality and very comfortable. And just above the arcade one-up is my Game Boy shelf. Here I'm displaying my modded Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and SP, along with the original shells and buttons I used for the mods. I love my Game Boys. As a kid, I'd take my Game Boy Color everywhere with me. I was that kid with the Game Boy Color kind of carrying case with the string that goes around your neck. That was me. I was that kid everywhere. And now, my favorite one to have on the go is definitely my yellow GBA. I just prefer the comfort and button style over the SP with its clicky buttons. And behind all the Game Boys is a huge Super Smash Bros. Lineup poster. This was a gift from my mom. It's really cool. I love the artwork. Even though I don't play Smash as much anymore, I love this lineup. It looks great. It's gorgeous. Looks like a painting. It doesn't have all the characters, but it's still a really great piece to the game room. And this is a good time to mention, I did install cheap LEDs throughout the game room. As you see, I've used quarter dowels on the top part of the walls and laid the LED strip along them facing upward. That way I get a good glow on the corners of the game room. And also I ran the same LEDs throughout all the shelves and game center. It took a very long time and I didn't do too well on the corners, but it looks great. It makes your game room look so much better. I really encourage, if you have a game room, to get some LEDs and put them on the top parts of the shelves. It really illuminates everything you have there. And now we've reached the entertainment center. Starting from the right, we have my retro TV from Sharp. I like this because it's a nice size and it has component and S-video ports. And if you don't know, component, way better than composite. Just gonna say that. And you can obviously see I covered this TV with stickers. I just like the messy sticker art style, and I get to have my favorite games, brands, anime, and stuff that I like all over the TV. It gives it a really unique look, and it's just fun to look at. The more you look around, the more images and things you discover. And connected to this TV are all my retro consoles. All of these are from my childhood, hence the condition of some of them. But here is the PS2 I traded in all my NES games for as a kid. I definitely regret that now, but I remember being so happy to get it as a kid. I remember my first game for the PS2 was Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I spent about 100 hours straight on that game. And I got the Super Famicom I brought with me all the way back from Japan last time we visited. I actually bought this from the Super Potato game store in Akihabara. Really hoping to find a Dreamcast and N64 for a good price so I can bring it back to my collection. But for now, I'm really happy with what I have. And next to that is the 4K Samsung TV, where I have all my HDMI consoles hooked up not including the PS5. That one is in the living room. I carry all my Switch games in these cartridge holders, but I keep all the cases here too. We also have the classic NES and SNES. Really love these, and I hope Nintendo makes more classic consoles in the future, like an N64 or a classic Game Boy. That would be awesome. Above the TVs, we have some wall art I've been collecting over the years. We've got Super Mario 3, Donkey Kong Country, Metroid Dread, my favorite of course being the Super Mario RPG. Moving on, we are at the final wall of the room. Here are the bookshelves you always see behind me in my videos. This is where I keep everything from games, figures, merchandise, and even stuff I've made myself. I like to make each shelf as aesthetically pleasing as possible. I like to have a mix of items in each shelf. That way, the more you look, the more you discover without it being too messy. The first shelf here, we have the Animal Crossing Switch box. Yes, I just bought the box off of eBay. I'm that guy. Beside it are these 2 trees from Animal Crossing I made myself, and each of them light up. We also have the Zero figure from the Kotobukiya model series, Shinobu from Demon Slayer, and my Switch Lite. Below that, we have the NES shelf where I keep my classic Mario merch and boxes from the first 3 Mario games for the NES. I'm a big fan of classic Nintendo memorabilia from the 80s and 90s. Moving on, we have a couple pairs of custom Nikes that I painted. We have Mega Man X with Zero on the other side of the shoe, and Super Mario 3. These both took a long time to paint. I have a video coming out explaining more about them, so stay tuned for that. Behind that, we got the Swole Boys. We got All Might, Buff Charmander, and Buff Squirtle. Then here we got the boxed shelf. Here are the only boxed games I own for the SNES and NES. I would really love to have more of these complete in-box games for the SNES and NES, but man, collecting these days, it's just not fun. The prices are insane, as I'm sure you guys know. And at the bottom of this first bookshelf, I have a couple boxes, one for the PS3 and Wii U, plus my 1989 coloring book and Christmas cards. Moving back up to the top, we have my gorgeous Mario Odyssey bundle box, the Luigi's Mansion figure from First 4 Figures. I actually have an unboxing video I made about this figure if you're interested, link in the description. Moving on, we have the wearable Mega Man helmet from Capcom, and the mask I made for it out of clay in the last video I did. This was an absolute nightmare to make, but it turned out so well. I'll link that video in the description as well. We have the figure of Proto Man from the Kotobukiya series, my PSP, and a fat Pikachu plush from way back in the day. Moving down, we got the boxes to the Zero and Proto Man models. I just really love the art these 2 boxes have on. I just couldn't throw them away, I had to display them. We also have a vintage Raccoon Mario walkie-talkie. I only have the one, but they came in a pack of 2 for Super Mario 3. Moving down, we have a miscellaneous retro shelf with Atari games and boxes. We have Pac-Man, we got Space Invaders. To the left is an antique Tails plush, love him. A boxed Aladdin game for the Genesis. And does anyone else remember these gold Pokemon cards you could get from Burger King back when the first movie came out? Man, that takes me back. And at the bottom here we have my box to the Mega Man X Buster that we'll see later in the video, and one Mario glove I made to go with the Mario mask I made a long time ago that you'll also see later in the video. Next, at the last bookshelf, we got the new 3DS XL SNES version. I bought this new back in the day when you could still buy them in stores. I can't believe how much the price has gone up nowadays. There's also my favorite Mega Man figure from Sentinel, the most accurate figure I've ever seen. He looks amazing. We have the 2 new Game & Watches released from Nintendo for Mario and Zelda. Man, I really loved playing with those. that one time. And of course we have the N64 controller for the Nintendo Switch. I definitely use this whenever I play N64 games on the online membership. Moving down, we have the boxes for the classic consoles that Nintendo released, a gorgeous Mega Man figure, and some of the items that I've collected with my Nintendo Platinum points so far. The next 3 shelves I just used to kind of put things. I'm not really sure where to put them just yet. Here we have my Trunks figure, a couple controllers, my bronze Batman sculpture I made back in university. He's basically used as my bookend now for the Genki 1 lessons I have that I'm slowly self-studying on. Yes, I'm that weeb that's trying to learn Japanese. We also have a framed power mushroom that my wife made. She actually embroidered this by hand, stitched it up. It looks awesome. I love it. Moving down, we have the box to the Mega Man figure, a gorgeous tissue box. Huh. And that huge Mario Odyssey box is not for the game, it's actually for a t-shirt. And all the way down, I guess, is my cereal collection. I got a few of these at the store, planning to give away a couple boxes to some friends. I just have to make some friends first. And in front of these boxes are the first ever pair of shoes I painted in the theme of GameCube and Mario Sunshine. And finally, at the top of the bookshelves is some more goodies we got. We have a Batman cowl made by Sean Reeves from Reeves FX. It's the best place to get Batman cosplay stuff. It's amazing. The utility belt in front of him I made out of foam. Then we have the Mega Man X First Armor Buster. This thing is really cool actually. It lights up, it does the sounds for charging your shot and firing. When you actually turn off the buster, it makes the dying sound from Mega Man X. It's really cool. Over here we have the Mario mask, well, helmet I guess, I made from scratch from way back in the day, the PS5 box, and a couple manuals to games that have been lost to my childhood. I have no idea why I have the manuals and not the games, but there they are. Looking forward to eventually recollecting these games. And finally, we've reached my work desk. Yes, this is where the magic happens. This is where I edit all my videos on a very underpowered laptop that my wife and I share, but hey, you know, it gets the job done. I just decorated it with some figures, fake plants, and my favorite game, Mario RPG. Really hoping to get a complete in box version someday. I just have the cartridge right now, but since it's my favorite game, that would be a holy grail item for me, for sure. And beside that is just a messy stuffed closet that you guys don't need to see. But here's the last bit of artwork I have. And there you have it. This was my tiny, compact game room. I know I don't have a huge collection compared to other YouTubers and collectors, but I think mine is unique with the style and how I've managed to fit everything in here without it feeling too cramped. If you've made it this far in the video, I'd like to send a big thank you. And also, I'd like to ask, what do you like about this game room? What do you don't like? I'd love to know down in the comments below. Do you have any good tips on finding deals? Do you know where I could find a good deal on a complete in-box Mario RPG? Maybe a Dreamcast? N64? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, guys. I'll see you next time.